Hey there YouTube, Crispy Charizard here, and today I'm going to discuss something that just came out on YouTube last night, and this is the first time I'm doing something like this because, well, I haven't gotten a chance until now, and this is something that really interests me, but no one else has seemed to discuss yet, which probably has something to do with it just being released in Japanese, which makes sense. And the thing I'm discussing, of course, is the next Pokemon movie, called Pokemon I Choose You. Now, the name is a little strange for a title, but it's kind of fitting for its setting. And the thing that people have noticed that is just, it's Pikachu and Ash's origin story, but a little different. And people have guessed that, oh, they're just gonna reinterpret the original story, but the second trailer, which just came out last night, shows that it's a little more than that. It's a lot more than that. It's possibly set in an alternate timeline. Based on what I saw, it's nothing to do with what we know. It's completely different. If you haven't seen it, well, then I suggest you do. I saw it on Cerebi last night, and, well, it's still the Japanese version. They're not going to release it in English for a while, I bet. Now, of course, from this point forward, be warned of spoilers, unless you don't care. But it's not really spoilers. I don't know what's gonna happen exactly. I'm just giving you what the trailer gives. So watch the trailer if you want to see the whole thing yourself. And in order not to be claimed, I'm just gonna show screenshots of different points in the video. So the things that stay the same, more or less, is the story of the Spearow and the seeing the Ho-Oh, and Pikachu refusing to like Ash at first. Even the Pokeball has the lightning bolt symbol on it. Now, I'd like to point out that this hat that Ash is wearing is not exactly the hat that he has in the original story, which seems to support my theory that this is an alternate timeline for which the reboot to take advantage of, because, Pokemon has nearly confirmed that there are alternate timelines and dimensions and a multiverse. I think the anime is starting to take advantage of this in order to make a creative reboot. The animation's not bad, I'd like to comment. Now, they're traveling together, and of course, they're not going to be alone, but they're not going to be with Misty or Brock either. And the whole surprising thing about this trailer is that Misty and Brock aren't seen in it at all. Now, I think they're going to be in the movie as gym leaders, but not as companions. This is the first of Ash's companions that we see. I'm not going to bother with names because they're just going to be the Japanese versions anyway. And this guy, who wants to become a Pokemon professor, travels with a Lucario. The three of them with Marshadow, who is in the movie. Spoilers. Don't know how or why or what, but I'm psyched for this. The whole point of the movie is that he's looking for Ho-Oh. I just noticed that on Ash's backpack, there is the symbol that is on his hat in the original series. His hat has a different symbol here, but that original series symbol moved from his hat to the back of his book bag, his backpack. The guy who's addicted to Ho-Oh, I don't know if he's the same guy who likes Moltres in the original series. And I think this is going to be some sort of journey through Kanto, with some gym battles and also finding Ho-Oh and battling rivals. I don't know what it has. This is a good trailer. They don't spoil too much. A Charmander. And something that evolves into a Metapod, maybe, or whatever, and which also evolves into a Butterfree. So that means this is a journey put into one video. But if he can catch a Charmander and a Caterpie, and evolve that Caterpie all the way into a Butterfree, and still find Ho-Oh, I mean, I hope it's not too condensed, because then it'll feel rushed. I really like that scene. I want to see some emotions. Here is Ash battling with Pikachu in a place where Pikachu's using Quick Attack and getting attacked by a blue Vine Whip. Based on the background, he is in the Celadon gym battling Erica, which confirms that there are gym battles in this movie. If he battles all 8 gyms in one movie, I wonder how that'll make the movie, like... I'm still worried. So, Yeah, he is almost definitely battling Erica in her gym. More than likely. I'm almost certain. Team Rocket also appears. Then, of course, there's this rival. I just noticed that the hair in front of his eyes cross over, which explains his Japanese name of Cross. And Cross also describes his attitude most of the time, because he's basically a Paul-like character. Just, he only cares about strength. And his partner is none other than Incineroar. So, Pikachu, Piplup, Lucario, Ash and his two companions, and Marshadow. This guy, Team Rocket, Incineroar. There's a lot going on. Ho-Oh seems to be very important, but I'm not as excited about it as I am about Marshadow, because Marshadow is, like, new. Ho-Oh's old news. But I think that it and its rainbowing, which Ash finds at the beginning, is significant in some way. I wonder if they're going to make some connections between this timeline and the original timeline. Alright guys, this is the update that I've added to my short analysis video of Pokemon I Choose You. And I'd just like to add a few things that I might have forgotten to mention because it hadn't occurred to me. So, yeah, I discussed everything that I thought was important, and, well, the movie's not as big a deal as most people seem to think, other than the fact that I think it's a reboot. I don't know if anyone realizes how serious that idea is, that it's a reboot. I know that they're finding it hard to come up with new material and new settings. And I'll respect their decision to rewrite completely the original series. But, I don't know what they're going to do with it. But that's not what I came back to say. What I came back to say was something else. What I updated this video to say is that I don't like what people are saying about this guy. I believe in Japanese he's called Sonji. Yeah, Sonji, something like that. People are saying that he's red. Now, when I first saw this trailer, I noticed all on my own, without other people's videos, that the thing on his hat looks like the badge symbol on Red's original hat back in, like, Generation 1. Red, the video game character. So people are saying that he's Red, or the father of Red, or at least Red from the future, or Ash from the future. And I don't like these theories. There's no justification for it. I think that the reason he has a near exact hat symbol as Red is that it's a reference to Red. It's simply a nod, an Easter egg, sort of. Maybe like I don't know. I think they intentionally made that reference to trip us up, or at least or they didn't expect us to go wild with the theories. That can't be Red. This is an, anime movie, which is a rewritten canon of Ash. Now, if you remember Red from the Pokemon Origins series with those 4 long episodes, that was nice. I like that. But if you remember the hat from Pokemon Origins, it wasn't this hat. It was a completely different hat, if I remember correctly. Let me find it. Yeah, I mean, look at it. If you had to tell me to compare that hat to someone, it would be Ash in the Kalos saga, when he was, in X and Y in Kalos. So that's just what, to me, it looks the most similar to. But other than that, there's no way that they're the same person. There's no way. This old man, Sonji, for all intents and purposes, is the character from the original anime, who appears from time to time as the guy who's in charge of the league. Like, he's the fanatic of Moltres and how its flame is used similar to the Olympics in real life. Now, if it's not him, that's fine, because this guy is more addicted to Ho-Oh, and Ho-Oh and Moltres aren't related. At least, they aren't yet. So I just like to make that clear. He can't be Red. I don't think he's Red. Anyone who thinks he's Red has got to, not be so confident about it. For all intents and purposes, this is Red. And he is not in the slightest bit in the same universe as Ash. Now, of course, there are exceptions. For example, in the video games, where Red definitely exists, and Origins is based on the video games, Ash is mentioned when you get that event Greninja that becomes Ash Greninja, and its original trainer's Ash, and you get a letter. But that's from the demo for Sun and Moon. We can, ignore that because this is about the movie. And because it's about the movie, we can concentrate on Ash in a canon that may or may not be the same as the one we know. But this has nothing to do with the video game Red or the Origins Red. And to make my point clear, this is not Red, and he's not the point. The point is Ash. You guys, I'm curious what they're going to be doing with this canon. There are many options. One option is that they leave it as one movie that they did for fun, as a rewritten timeline, which can exist separately from what we know so far, but they're not going to interact, and they're not going to erase anything. They're just going to do this one time, and they're never going to go back on it again. The second option is that after Sun and Moon, in the current canon, they're going to scrap it and continue what I Choose You has created, and make this the canon forever. That's another option, where, what we've had so far is completely scrapped, and this becomes the canon. The third option is that they both become simultaneous canons, but I doubt they'll do that, because that's like what Star Trek's doing, but what Star Trek's doing isn't literally the same story. I mean, what Star Trek's doing is very related. One timeline created the other timeline. This has not been confirmed. People are, making some crazy theories about Marshadow having time travel abilities, or Ho-Oh, or, some other time traveling Pokemon. But none of these Pokemon are confirmed to be able to time travel. We're talking about Ho-Oh and Marshadow here, and a guy who they think is Red. But I'm not so sure about the third option, which makes both canons permanent. No. And the fourth option is that, well, wait, I was gonna make the fourth option that they're gonna scrap both, but let's not consider that. I'm assuming that some canon is gonna last. The question is it going to be the original canon, the I Choose You canon, or both? Personally, I'm hoping that this movie will be a one-time thing, or at the very least, they can make more movies in this canon, but they have to admit that this canon is a different one from what we've had so far. Because every movie we've had so far, I believe, is canon to the original series up to Sun and Moon, and that it all ties together, while this movie is the only movie which I will argue is not canon. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe.